All right.
Good math on that.
Game number 4 here. Let's go ahead and get it started. And we'll see if the math will continue here for BKB. As we'll be doing Tomb of the Spider Queen. The good guys will be choosing the battleground, so Zealots will have the first pick.
The good guys are ahead, the Zealots are triggered, and Tomb is going to be the next map.
Yeah, that's a devastating loss, man. I mean, I know we always talk about when you go through a series and you take a beating and you lose, you kind of have to just get your head out of it and just get back into the next game. But it might be kind of hard to shake that one off.
It's easier to shake a game off where you have been completely crushed because either your opponent snowballed it or because you had a bad draft.
Yeah.
Even if you end up with 20 kills against you, it's easier to shake that off, a complete stomp, than a game where you put the opponent on 16%, then the catapults nearly win it for you, and you get taken out after a devastating team fight loss with your opponent just barely having, it's that one shot.
Yeah.
It's 1 second. That's the difference between you winning the game or losing the game.
Oh, especially when you were the one controlling the fights all the time around the shrines. It's going to be one the Zealots have to make sure that they pull their head out of here and just get ready for game number 4, because now they're in a spot where they have to tie up the series to go into game number 5. Zealots, if they get the victory, they've won this series, which was their main goal since the start.
Yeah, but when it comes to drafting, I have to say that I'm not really sold on the Anubarak main tank here. It's really something that they've been struggling with every time they play them. So I would love for them to play a second main tank if they really want to play Nubarak, or simply switch him out, because he gives value, he has utility, but the survivability that he currently offers just doesn't seem to resonate properly with them.
Time for Artanis. Artanis would live longer.
Okay.
Zealots, getting ready for the ban here. Let's see if they'll go ahead and get rid of Artanis, or if they'll go ahead and choose somebody else to ban out.
What would you do if Artanis is actually just simply first ban for lols in some game?
I'd be happy and sad at the same time.
Okay.
That's what I would do.
I was going for full sad. So no.
Not much more you can do, you know?
Yeah.
Well, will the Zealots continue to ban out supports here? They have gone through the path of banning out Rhaegar, Uther, and Tassadar in the last few games.
Yeah, the Tassadar is definitely something I would expect here once again, just simply because he offers even more on Tomb of the Spider Queen, thanks to all the value that he provides with his Oracle alone, but then also the Wave Clear in particular. Yeah. So I think Tassadar ban would be great, and that's what the good guys are doing immediately. So we are ending up with 2 of the healers banned out once more. First of all, of course, Oriel, she's great here, especially if you put a Lunara into play or a Vala. So, yeah. First pick, either Genji or Uther, I'd say.
Oriel, given that the 4-man rotation, those heals that are so needed, you know, the area effect, Attainment Strike also great when you're going for those turn-ins for interrupting, but also setting up stuns for your team to go in. So Oriel, just all in all, is good on this battleground, including the points that were brought up here by Caldor.
And once again, this game is super important for the teams, because we're currently talking about beyond part 2 of our second phase. We're talking about part 2, phase 2 already, so towards BlizzCon, when teams have to be not only aiming for a spot at BlizzCon, but also to be careful that they don't end up in the Crucible. Yeah. And if you are taking the direct win against a competitor, that is the best case scenario. So if the good guys win the match, not only do they win another match, which counts towards their points, but also they take down the Zealots, which is super important, since if you lose against someone that you will probably end up with in very close standings when it's going to determine which team drops down the Crucible and which team is safe in the middle of the pack, then those direct victories are just the most important thing. So right now, both of these teams need that win. And the good guys even more so than the Zealots, because they're trailing behind.
It's a weird mentality to have here. Just do better than the bottom 2 is basically what it comes down to. Just make sure you don't have to worry about getting in the top 3, you don't have to be in the top 5, just do better than 7th and 8th spot, and that's what both these teams are aiming for right now. Team Good Guys moving into Greymane and Dahaka to continue their trend of picking up that Greymane. They've been doing well with him, and Dahaka, even on Tomb of the Spider Queen, can still be pretty effective. He's a good solo laner, and he has the moments where he can move in and drag. He just kind of loses out on that late game area where usually he'll be by himself soaking and the opposing team can't do much. On Tomb of the Spider Queen, they can gank him.
I also think that this time we've talked about Nubarak and about tanks, and since the Haka is again part of the combo that the good guys are planning for, I would assume that BKB takes the hero.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see anti-hero go into a Stitches over a Nubarak if Zealots, especially now that the Nubarak is taken away. So unless Stitches is banned, I would say there's a very good chance that we are going to have a Stitches play by the good guys.
What if that Nubarak is grabbed? Same for the last fight that we saw there on Infernal Shrines. Even though we saw the Nubarak getting picked, still, that Cocoon was pivotal for them in the late game where they got that 4v3 and good guys were able to get a victory. So Zealot's probably thinking, all right, Cocoon could be good for us to have on our side, especially if we're going to run a solo Uther. So there it is. And it's good to see Malthael brought back in here to hold that bottom lane.
I'm actually interested. They definitely changed it up. You talked earlier about how we are seeing anti-hero more on the main tank.
Yeah.
Anti-hero was a solo laner, and he is amazing on the solo lane, but now he has to fill a different role. So what we've seen is BKB take on every single map that wasn't Battlefield the Haka.
Yeah.
So I'm only really used to seeing BKB on a tank role, but now that he seems to be taking over the solo laner, I'm actually curious to see him on heroes other than the Haka to just judge a little bit how strong he can be in that solo lane.
Are you saying if Zealots get through Game 4 and Game 5, ban out Dahaka and see what happens?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a bit of a YOLO attempt. It depends on the map highly, but it would definitely be something where if you look at the games that are being played here, BKB just went straight on the Dahaka time after time again. And with anti-hero now being on the main tank position, apparently, you can really play maybe a bit more around that solo lane position. Since Malthael now into the Dahaka, it's a winning matchup for Malthael, but the Dahaka should still be able to hold his own here, so it's not going to be too bad. But if we have later on another map where solo lane is strong, maybe Dragonshire.
Sure.
Not quite sure about the bans that we have seen, but if Dragonshire, for example, is still a possibility and could be played,
Warhead and Braxis were banned out. So
it would at least cross my mind to say, hey, what if we ban out the Haka? They played him the entire time. BKB has played this one hero over and over again outside of Battlefield of Eternity. That might be something where we can throw them off, because there is obviously a role swap happening, so that definitely affects players.
I mean, we were talking about it as game number 1. Game plans are very important when you go into best of 5 series. If you're able to disrupt your opponent's game plan, that's always a strong case here. If you take Dahaka off and you also leave Anti on a main tank, you have 2 people that are suddenly uncomfortable.
Exactly. So it's not like they can't play that position, but they might not be able to play it as well as the other person. So that is something where if a team just made a switch, you can try and exploit a bit. With the picks that we have, so as expected, Stitches wasn't banned out, and the good guys pick him immediately. I'm actually a little bit surprised that they didn't ban out Stitches. Since anti-hero is known for his Stitches play, Stitches is strong on the map, you already picked the Nubarak away from them. So in this case, I would have probably just simply targeted the Stitches. I think it was the obvious choice for the good guys to put into play here.
Yeah, it seemed like they were just trying to go for a support choke there, trying to get all the cleanses. We'll have to see what Team Good Guys will pick up for their 5th support. There is still a Kerosene floating around, but for now it's all about the Zealots, and they need to get a range damage here, and potentially a main tank as well. I don't know if I'm sold on the Nubarak being the main tank. It's going to be Li Ming?
I mean, he can be if you put a second support in there, if you just play it a bit differently, focus more. Okay, so let's... Nubarak as the main tank. We have the Tychus on top of Li Ming for extra damage. Malfurion after Stitch's hook for roots. And of course also push. I would just want to see if they make adjustments to the Nubarak build, how they're going to play it. We have seen Bad Benny go into more Carapace talents, going a little bit away from the Subterranean Shield on 7 and Underking on 4. And the Underking adjustment is something that Antihero and Nubarak has also committed to, since he didn't really take it anymore and instead went for the Carapace. But that's definitely still something that we have to watch out for, because we have seen it yesterday already, that teams are dabbling a little bit more to find out, okay, where does a Nubarak fit right now?
Sure.
Is he still the main tank? Is he not? But you can tell that it's way riskier now than before to play Nubarak as the solo or the main tank in the combo.
Yeah, he's going to have a hard time also healing the Stitches here. When the Stitches hooks come out, Malthael, Li Ming, Tychus, all wonderful picks that you can grab, especially with that root being down. I do think that Tychus kind of works here. I've actually enjoyed him more and more with Odin against Genjis. When Genjis drop down the Dragon Blade, you just pop down your Odin and get that resistance up, and you turn around and just trade very well into the Genjis. So we have a pretty good draft here for the Zealots. It's all about getting to that level 10, though. Can they do it well without getting picked off often by the good guys? That's my main question.
I like the Good Guys draft also quite. It's really nice. Yeah, there's a clear idea of what you're doing. So once again, hook into roots, the curse bullet coming out, trying to drop the target. They have good hook targets as well on the other side. So there's a lot that they can work with. And for me, for the Zealots, it's really all about the Anubarak here, since we had in the past Mopsio sometimes having positional problems, more so on heroes that didn't have an escape though. So I think with the Anubarak, it's going to be a bit easier for him. Overall, he has definitely stepped up his play significantly. But with the new Anubarak and the Stukov patch changes now coming in, I want to see if he can make sure that he doesn't get picked off time and time again. So that's something that I personally am going to watch out for.
All right, well, game number 4. Let's go ahead and go to Tomb of the Spider Queen. The Good Guys ahead 2-1 over the Zealots.
All right, let's get this started. Tomb of the Spider Queen, game number 4. The lead for the Good Guys with BKB on Dehaka, with Xay on Greymane. Once again, anti-hero at that front line with Stitches for the hooks. Raid Boss is back on Genji. And last but not least, we have Kronos on Malfurion.
On the right side in the red, Malfio will be played by Zarmany. Mopsio playing a Anubarak. Shad on top of Tychus. Poik playing Li Ming. And Grandpa will be on Uther.
Now with the setup that we're now seeing here, the question... what I really like about this, by the way, is that Greymane, or Xay on Greymane, was really solid on the last map. He did so much work on that hero. We saw that over and over again. I'm also curious to see how much anti-hero can now commit to with his Stitches play. He has played Stitches. He was actually one of the most known for Stitches players in the days of the Heroes of the Storm beta. So of course a long time ago, but his Stitches play is usually on point. So I'm really curious to see if he can really get those hooks that they need and have that follow-up from Malfurion, that combo that is just so important. And we're also going to keep an eye out for BKB, who is now transitioning for the team more and more into that solo laner, into that off-tank position. Now on Dehaka again against Malfurion towards the bottom of the map.
Oh, he just brought me back to the days when Stitches had the gorge into sprint into bolt, where he would just grab somebody, run across the map, and bolt away.
The one thing that Antihero actually did as the first player in Europe and North America was that in competitive play on this map, it was basically a true and tried combo of the German team that he was part of back then. He was the first one to go for shish kebab and just simply hook through structures.
Yeah.
And at first, when nobody actually ever took that talent, nobody even thought about it. And then the first time it happened, it just basically got them a kill against every single team. Since they all thought they were safe behind the structure, all of a sudden the hook comes in and you hook them through. And that's how they got a couple of really important wins in tournaments. And until teams started to double check a little bit more what's being picked on 16, and since they all of a sudden said, wait a second, you don't always go fishing hook, there's another talent there too. We need to be a bit more careful, apparently.
It always takes one person, man, to be the innovator. And speaking about shish kebab, we just had Stitches get picked off in the middle lane as 4 people came in and knocked him out. We're able to grab some experience and keep pushing in and drop in 12 gems. So Zealots already starting here with first blood.
So, once again, what do we have here? 2 minutes in for level 4, not really dropped for the Zealots yet, but they actually control the rotation. And we have, up at the top, Greymane playing this super safe, just trying to get the experience here. So, the rotation definitely dominated by the Zealots. What Team Good Guys needs is they still need the hook. We also have Malfurion going straight into his quest talents. Antihero with an attempt to put the pressure onto Zarmany. And Raid Boss still, getting stunned once, twice, combo follows. Raid Boss gets away.
Very different style of Stitches being played by Anti compared to BKB. BKB is more in your face, more slam build, trying to get into the fights, and then when you try to disengage, he hooks you back in. Seems like Team Good Guys is fishing a little bit more here with this type of style, and it makes sense with you having that Malfurion into the Greymane. They just haven't yet gotten the pick they want.
They also have the wave clear, so they don't necessarily need wave clear on Antihero. The in-fight damage is also, I would say, provided with Greymane and Genji in particular.
True.
So in this case, they just want to make sure that against Chat, against all that frontline pressure with Tychus and also, of course, then Poik and his combos, that they are playing the hero a little bit safer.
Poik also at level 1 is running power hungry. Remember, Regen Globes restore his mana and also give him spell power for 20 seconds. Between middle and top lane, you're going to be getting those Regen Globes in the early game very easily. It allows you to put in a lot of damage and a lot of poke. I would recommend just really spamming out those spells if you're able to get those Regen Globes on this map. And look for targets to land them. You're looking for that Malfurion, you're looking for potentially even that Genji. But it's not a bad choice to even hit that Stitches with that Dampen Magic.
Yeah, also in the meantime, we're having the combo follow-up always there on the other side with Antihero and Kronos. So every time the Stitches hook comes through, there's immediately the root on the ground. We've been talking about this quite a bit in the past, how important it is that you always follow up on the hook, even if you don't know if the target will be hit or not. And that's exactly what they're doing here. So far, they haven't gotten the isolation. That's definitely a chance.
Always a chance here. Now, the clear has been superior here for Zealots. Look at it, down the bottom right. 45 to 32 in turn-in. They only need 5 more. Could do so soon. Normally, you want to get these turn-ins either around the 6 to 7 level, so you get a nice little talent, you can push in and break the turrets, or you do it around level 9, that way you can push and get level 10 at the same time.
Yeah, Xay turned his own gems in now, though, and that means that they only need another 8 additional gems as well. Shad is attempting to complete the turn-in, and interrupted once again. Xay still sticking around, interrupts him once more as the roots come down. Genji wants to turn in, but Malthael is interrupting, so both of the teams very eager to deliver the final few gems. Interrupt against Grand Paquette, but this time it seems as if he is going to get it.
Just barely there. Anti was moving forward to bring out the slam, but could not get it. And Zealots will push in with the level 7 here. They do have their talent. Need to get their waves pushing forward so they can get value out of these web weavers. We'll see how Team Good Guys handles the pressure.
And the Good Guys, they have also with the level 7 talent now the Cocktail Quest for Greymane. So at this point he can really start the stacking process, and the amount of wave clear he has once that's completed is pretty strong. We're also seeing at the same time on 7 for Malfurion going straight, not into Broccoli, but into the reduced healing. Still went with the Loon's Grace on 4.
We'll be able to help poke, especially with that level 1 here from our Malfurion. So far, middle lane is taking quite the beating as you're seeing both these turrets being burned down. Zealots spread out as much as they can here. 2 push in the top, middle, and they can move down to the bottom afterwards as well. The well weaver already being at half health. Grabbing the well would be good here, and they're going to be able to do that. So keeping sustain a little bit lower for Team Good Guys, and it's all about the clear. I mean, very patient game so far. Finally, a root will connect, but Grandpa actually picks up the cleanse.
Yeah, that was on point. So he went straight for the cleanse here, especially after Malfurion picked his own 7, not going for Guardian of the Ancient Kings. It's the reduced healing that you have here, which is actually a problem as long as you're rooted down. So the cleanse helps him just to get out of it and to escape. Right now, we're still seeing a leading experience for the Zealots, but it's actually not too crazy. So if BKB or maybe Antihero can turn in their last few remaining gems, they will get their own wave, and Zealots are not even contesting it. Instead, they are trying to catch their own camp so that they have something deep pushing in the mid lane already, so that they have an easier time with the objective that is about to spawn for the Good Guys.
Yeah, this is good for the Good Guys. If they can get a fight here, or at least get the turrets before 10 hits, which they have a nice window here before Zealots do get to their level 10, they'll be in a great spot. You see Anti sharking around looking for that hook. Only target, though, is the Nubarak. Nubarak usually is going to get out. Zealots actually going in for a fight themselves. But with a root coming out from Kronaz, it's going to be nice for zoning, and Zealots have to pull back.
Yeah, Zealots pull back a little bit. The drag connects against Grandpa. There's no follow-up route to lock him down. And we're seeing the middle push. As the hook connects again, and this time it's good. Looks like we are going to see a dead Uther here. Nice follow-up by Kronos with the entangling vines immediately on the ground. No heals available for Uther. And that was an important kill as the push still continues for the Good Guys.
Yeah, a very pivotal moment for Team Good Guys. Getting that hook, give them just an experience to hit 10 just with the Zealots to make defense a little bit harder for them. And they took out their healer. And typically when the opposing team doesn't have a healer, they're not going to come in for a fight.
And we have Locust Swarm taken.
Oh.
So, no Cocoon this time. With the Nubarak getting changed and losing a lot of sustainability, Locust Swarm becomes a lot more attractive to the teams. And that's exactly what we're seeing here. Talking about a Nubarak, Mopsy already receiving a lot of damage, and the hook hits him hard. That's gems lost. That's also a Divine Storm. Raid Boss gets the kill against Li Ming and has the dash available to move out as Grand Paquette was hoping for a kill. But a lot happening there in just a few seconds. Now, first of all, we're seeing Greymane going for the Cursed Bullet against Nubarak right away as he tries to escape. The hook connecting, the lockdown, the kill. And in the meantime, Genji still disrupting the backline, getting a kill against Li Ming. Stunned out himself, but thanks to the reset, able to escape once again. So good job here from the Good Guys, building up some momentum against the Zealots.
Another shout out to the Haka there, landing that drag to make sure they could secure that kill. They grab another turn in. They got the top fort already taken out. They can look towards the middle and the bottom safely. If they play this correctly, they can definitely successfully get 2 forts broken down on their opponents, which allows for Stitch's Malfurion combos to be stronger.
And they're already a level ahead, so if they're able to get another level and hit 13 with this, that would be fantastic. Putrid Bile used as Mopsy was trying to dash in, but Antihero dodging him. No hook come. Ah, there we go. Great cleanse from Grand Paquetto, once again getting the pre-cleanse in, but also the dodge for Malthael. So that's 60 seconds on the cooldown for the cleanse at this point. Mopsio moves back, and with them already utilizing a few of their tools, they have to give up the fort at least, and that's 2 forts down. That's a 3rd fort down at the bot lane as another Web Weaver eliminates the structures. And you can see how that is giving them more and more experience towards 13.
Yeah, that Web Weaver is still healthy, so they can push down there if they want to fight. So Zealot's trying to make sure they don't get the opportunity. They push in right away. So Harmony still has his Tormented Souls to activate. He can move in. The silence comes out from Malfurion to prevent that from occurring. And Zealots do answer back in the middle. However, they have to pull away. Remember, those Web Weavers are still pushing, and they're hungry for turrets.
There's still all of the irreg abilities for the Zealots around, and that's great. Oh, the hook! And again, the roots. Shad is about... Oh my god!
Wow.
Shad survives, and now it's the Malthael show. Dehaka is down, and Malthael is in play. The ice block is cute, but not good enough to save him. That's a double kill. Really unfortunate for the good guys. A great hook, a good lockdown, but not enough damage to drop. Tigers. I actually think that Genji dashing through was too early. A few more hits by him. If he holds that dash a little bit longer, he is going to confirm that kill for sure. But he didn't have the mobility to chase back after him. And the one thing that I'm worried about a little bit is that Malthael could get out of hand in the draft of the Zealots, since there's very little that the good guys can actually do. You don't have a Cocoon available, for example, to simply lock him down after he uses the Tormented Souls.
And it was Malthael and Li Ming that won that team fight. Malthael went in there, got the Tormented Souls, got members low. Li Ming got a big orb off into a Q and then just brought out the Calamity, and they had 2 kills. And now Zealots answer back, getting some turn-ins. They do have some gems to actually drop in a turn-in, but Team Good Guys is already here just in time. Mopsio will delay on the top side as Zarmony was attempting to turn in, but he doesn't get the 29 gems dropped off.
And nice dodge again on the hook here, so well done. Li Ming immediately moving away. But we have still the structural advantage for the good guys. And it's pretty impressive. Haven't lost a fort yet. Took out 3 already. They're very far away from having the gem count to turn in once again. Whereas, of course, the Zealots could go an easy second turn in if they're able to make the play towards one of the turn-in points.
Team Good Guys in a weird spot right now. They know their opponents have the turn-in, so they're just going to go ahead and defend it, as you were mentioning. They know that they have the forts to set up to run back to, and the wells in the bottom and top they can also grab to sustain out. So for now, it's all about grabbing whatever you can and letting your opponents push back into you so you can grab your gems. Just make sure to harass when possible, and watch for Stitches. He's the one that's going to hook and force the Malfurion roots once again.
Yeah, once again, also in the mid lane, the camp coming through, and that's where we're still going to see the AoE. Dehaka, the Burrow, still eats the Li Ming combo. Shad moves away, not turning in yet. Hook connects, but this time there's no follow-up from Kronos. Hook came out, but Mopsio not locked down, so therefore not even damage on him. And the turn-in attempt is still happening here, and it looks as if the good guys are giving this one up.
They may have to with Genji in the bottom. They really can't turn around and force a fight right away. The Red Weavers will be coming for the Zealots. They are behind about 3/4 of a level, but manageable for the good guys. They should be able to clear out.
The Zealots move down to the bot lane. They know there's Siege Giants, and the Siege Giants can easily take the Web Weavers out. That's why they are trying to burst them away before the objective closes in on the map, so that they don't lose out on the value at the bot lane. Really important to do. If you have those Siege Giants pushing in and there's no catapults on your end, your Web Weaver will be taken down pretty fast with those incoming waves. And they are pushing in heavily now. The good guys still have that level lead, but it's half a level until 16. So the Zealots have now a great opportunity. Dehaka still attempting to get some XP up at the top, and D pushes the Web Weaver wave. But the good guys might have to give up the fort at the bot lane if they want to play this safe.
Yeah, if they want to play it safe and fight with the talent advantage. And that should give Zealots a chance here to close that gap that the Team Good Guys has already achieved over them. They grab the fort here, which would be a nice chunk of change here. Grabbed a 15 and a quarter of experience, while still Good Guys are a quarter away from 16. Zealots should be able to clear out this wave and maybe poke up the middle a little bit, but they'll have to start pulling back as soon as that 16 hits.
Dehaka is playing safe, and I actually like this. BKB in the past had oftentimes a bit of a knack to be hyper-aggressive and a bit too far out, but he has been playing really safe around the Dehaka. When he doesn't have vision, he's playing super safe here. And that discipline is really cool to see on them now. Much better what we've seen from them so far than what they showed on the first map. Hooks coming out, also Drax coming out, Grandpa Kette again with the cleanses, trying to make sure that nobody is left behind here as the level 16 talent is now ready for the good guys and gives them the edge. And that also means that we have the fishing hook taken on the side of Stitches.
Both teams have been missing experience, so Zealots missed experience in the middle because they wanted to set up a gank on Dahaka. As you were mentioning, BKB was playing safe. They went around completely and played around with that vision. So Zealots missed out on a wave in the middle, which would have got them closer to 16, but also in the bottom lane, Dahaka missed out on about half the experience because Zealots were bolting around, looking like they might be willing to fight, so Team Good Guys was around that area. Regardless, 16 is about to hit for both of our teams, as Zealots are very, very close.
Yeah, the hook is only hitting a minion here, and he's still dodging around the turn-in point, whereas the Haka gets, of course, bot lane experience, so it's that side soak. But he moves in again, was hoping to get maybe a drag, but also turning in the gems. That would already help, and that's why the team is pushing forward, trying to create some space for him. But it's 16 versus 16 now, and it doesn't really look... Oh, there's again the hit against BKB. He is alive for now and moves away. Didn't have to use anything just yet, jumps in. And once more, Putrid Ball for the disengage. And the hook cleansed out by Grandpa. He's been on point with these cleanses. A great pickup for him.
Yeah, been on point with him, using youth there for those cleanses. BKB has used isolation. He missed out on it, and Anubrak just gets deleted. Man, he dies so much faster than what he used to in the past there. As Team Good Guys are cleaning him up, and they turn around and put their eyes on the boss.
Well, welcome to the Sukov patch. Anubrak definitely with a lot more trouble keeping himself alive. But I want to highlight again that Grandpa Kette took cleanse over the Guardian of the Ancient Kings. Such a great pick for him, considering how many drags and also stuns he already zoned out with this. Stun into stun, but Uther is about to fall. The lock against Greymane. Look at Antier, he's so low and he falls. Zarmany is still on the point. Kronos isn't there. Neither is Raid Boss. They might get the kill, but Greymane is down. Li Ming is dead. The boss taken by the Good Guys. A 3-4-3 trade. But that was such a close call, especially with the boss battle happening on point.
Can't believe Team Good Guys were able to grab it. Anti turned around and hooked off the Malthael away from the boss so they could grab it, and they did get it. But Zealots were very close to sealing it away there in a 4v5. Incredible.
And again, what was the problem? Malthael. Malthael is such a threat right now, and he doesn't even have his quest talent completed. He's at 137 stacks, so he's going to get his level 4 completed in just a few. He went into the Ethereal Existence on 13 and the Memento Mori on 16. In team fights, that guy is a beast, especially against the tank. And with Genji chasing Li Ming, there was just no one who could really threaten him.
Team Good Guys in a spot where they will eventually have to deal with that Malthael. For now, they do hold in. And we're lucky not to lose that boss. They are 2 levels away from 20. Is it getting to a point here with them not having a turn-in for a few more gems that they can think about the decision to wait until level 19, 19 and a half, get the turn-in and try and force a fight around 20, or do they just drop Webweavers off now?
I think you should drop because you have an opponent that already has 60 gems themselves. So the longer you wait with your own turn-in, the more you risk that the Zealots get a turn-in themselves. And then you fall behind in experience.
Makes sense. We'll see if they do that here. They still need, what, 6 more here before they're able to go for that turn-in. Well, Zealots are taking the opportunity to go to the top and drop off the gems for now. Raid Boss is here for Harass, and it's going to be an engage.
Yeah, there's again the root on the ground. Zarmany moves in, gets silenced, but after he uses his ult, isolation used on him now too. So Zarmany not eating the hook, but also burning a big cooldown. So if the turn-in now happens for the Zealots, at least Malthael is not going to become that massive threat that the Good Guys are afraid of in these team fights.
I feel like we've had as much fighting as we had on the Infernal Shrines map, but less kills overall. Both teams are just barely surviving, getting away, engaging and disengaging at the proper times.
I mean, the biggest problem for the Good Guys was losing that 5 versus 4 around the boss because they didn't get a lot of value out of the Anubara kill. They got the boss, but it was easily defended. And a big part does not only come down to Malthael. It was Uther getting the stun into boss stun, so it was a double stun against them, which was really pivotal for that fight to change and for the outcome. So at this...
oh, that was close.
Yeah, that one definitely scratched Uther's armor. But this is really the moment where the Zealots can turn it around when it comes to the experience and maybe hit the earlier 20. Especially if they're able to grab not only structures, but maybe a kill?
Anti-low. Mirror Ball comes out and he takes the damage but does survive. The fort will be the next picking here. And Zealots with this turn-in and grabbing the forts, they're going to grab a nice lead in experience. They grab the fort in the middle, fort at the top, and they're already breaking this turret.
Yeah, and they're completely getting ahead. They were behind. most of this game, they were massively behind in structures. But now, thanks to this turn-in, they are not only ahead in experience by a lot, they are also more or less negating the structural advantage that the Good Guys had. It's all about that top lane now. And there's still 3 keeps for both teams on the board. But at this point, this is getting a little bit scary for the Good Guys.
Anti looking for the hooks. Zealots know where the hooks are coming from, though. Able to keep pushing in after the hook does pop out. They have a few more seconds and 20 about to hit. They're going to be able to pressure this keep if they would like. They have Odin, too. They decide not to commit. They're going to go ahead and pull on back. But I would like to see them get more aggressive with that 20 coming.
These hooks. The thing is, what can they do with the aggression now?
With Odin, you could have broken down the keep. Just siege away with it with the area effect. You have a full level advantage.
You have a half-level advantage, and you have a Tahak on the other side. I'm not sure if I would really commit to that. I would also not move that far out. Grand Paquette falling, but he has Redemption, so Anti-Hero a bit too far out at that point, and that results in him falling. There was no silence, no nothing, and that's now a different story. 5 versus 4. 20 is going to hit for the Good Guys any second, but that's a very unfortunate situation right now.
Oh, the root. Oh, it's going to force the cleanse, though. Grandpa does come back. Here is that Odin starting to siege away. Yeah,
big red button is now being picked up, so they can start to siege in with that. No stitches means no hooks, and that's a perfect situation to spend 30 seconds poking away.
That wave of force, man, the repulsion at level 20 from Poig just keeps throwing Team Good Guys in every direction. Buying time here for Shad to keep shelling away outside the range of the keep. It's down to half health. Drag does not connect. It hits a minion instead. And this looks like it's a keep. Yeah,
without Stitches, without the threat of a hook, you can just simply sit there in Odin form and you can simply poke. Stitches dying in that situation definitely sealed the fate of the keep. So now Zealots are definitely ahead. And the Good Guys, they have their 20, but they need to wait for another team fight now again.
Okay, Stitches being here. We'll see if they're going to go ahead and move in for a fight. Remember, as mentioned, they don't have the gems for a turn-in. Oh, actually they do. They have 51 and 16. They have 24 floating around. They just have to find a way to get there. Zealots of a unit of 5 are going to try to make sure they don't allow that to occur, as they see the Team Good Guys in the top with that minion wave.
70,000 damage for Greymane. The poke with especially Cocktail is crazy for him. And of course, throwing around the cursed bullets like it's for candy and is also helping, especially against that front line. But there's the blue web wave. And this is the best shot for the Good Guys to make a difference here, because if they are not able to force a fight and take it now, then the Zealots have another shot at turning in again, and that should mean second keep. So right now it's all about how much value can they get. Oh, Xay! Mopsio calling it a bit too early. Xay disengaging. They know exactly where their opponent is. The Haka also burrowed away just barely before the rotation to the top happened.
Blind hook going out, does not connect. Team Good Guys have to be careful, but they also have the stress of needing to push in. They have spent their turn in to grab these web weavers, and they need to get value out of them. Good move there from the Zealots, forcing a fight, pulling Team Good Guys back for a little bit, but clearing up the web in the top and rotating around.
Yeah, Zealots doesn't necessarily want to fight a battle, they want to get the pick, and they don't get that now. So now they are moving in for the defense. Bot lane is of course still pushing through, and Anti will set up for a hook attempt. That doesn't get anybody just yet, needs to be careful here. And again, Web Weaver is about to be de-pushed, so good job by the Zealots. Defense at the top, at the middle, and now the only remaining Web Weaver is the one pushing through bot.
Lucky for Good Guys, they've already broken down these turrets, so they may be able to get some here. Zarmani starting to clear out that minion wave, as well as a Nubrak coming to the front. Hook goes out. It hits Tychus. The cleanse comes out, and so does the Odin, but Tychus taking the damage.
Tychus takes the damage. Oh,
Divine
Genji
Storm
tries to go in, but the Divine Storm drops him, and that is also the Haka down. Zealots with a great play here. They drop Greymane, and this is their ticket to game number 5. A fantastic hook of Anti-Hero hits Tychus. He gets into Odin fast enough, tries to move away, and then Genji feels pressure to drop the Dragon Blade and chase after him. And that is just what Grand Paquette waited for. Drops the stuns and takes him out, and it's the beginning of the end for the Good Guys in game number 4.
Yeah, they should be able to head straight to the core here with that Mirror Ball at level 16 for Li Ming, and Tychus just shelling away in the core. It should be easy to poke off. We're going to have Team Good Guys do their best to slow it down here. Zante's on the side here, keeping up the harassment, moving forward. He wants to get on top of Li Ming, try and chunk out those mirror balls. Shad as well jumps to the side here and brings the minigun. Still 18 seconds, but the core armor is already dead.
Call has been made. Ignore the heroes. There's no point. They don't have damage. Just go in straight for the core and drop it. Here, Shad healed once more, and they're just dancing around the core. 5 seconds, 3 until Genji is back, but that's just not enough time for a defense. where we have the core falling. This is game as we are headed into game number 5 between the Good Guys and the Zealots.
Odin, man, really coming in there. That resistance, even the cleanse coming out from Grandpa on the heals was just enough for them to turn around the fight, and Malthy was able to drop the Tormented Souls and force everything to go down. And I'm happy, man. Going to game number 5 between both these teams.
And I have to say, for me, the player of the game, Grandpa Paqueta. No doubt about it. Amazing cleanses against Drax, against hooks. His stuns were absolutely on point. It saved them the fight on the boss. In a 4 versus 5 scenario, it also saved then Uther against Genji. If he misses either the cleanse or the stun, anything there, the Divine Storm, then Tychus dies and they are in a 5 versus 4. Arguably, you could have said this is a game that the Good Guys should have won with how much of a lead they had, but the Zealots played patient, waited for the opportunity, took good team fights in the late game, and then turned it around.
Well, will the Zealots shred their way to victory, or will the Good Guys finish last? Let's go ahead and set up for game number 5. We'll be right back after a commercial break.